Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvatam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindha Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyan Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Janmadhyasya Anvayaditaratas Chartha Subhigneswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Amrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Swasti Astu Vishwasya Khalaha Prasidatam Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodhiya Manasya Bhadram Bhajatada Dhokshaje Aveshyatam No Matirapyahituki. We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 10, verse number 35. So in the previous verses we read Krishna's instruction about the importance of Karma Yoga, and he also explained the view of Purmimansa and its refutation. So in the last verse he said that what they say that this place, nature, karma, dharma, etc., they are eternal. So that is not true, because it says Gunvati Kare Sati Bahuda, that because of the change in guna, they are all my manifestation in different forms. So now on this Uddhava asks question, and before that Mohini asks question.
Yes, I think my question was just replied the way you explained it, because my question was like, okay, the Purva Mimamsa say the nature and creation is eternal, so that they can say there is no Ishvara. So I was wondering what is our benefit to say that there is a dissolution where all elements go back into the pradhana state, like manas goes back to pradhan, prakriti. What benefit do we have by this? Because even if we say the creation is eternal, the gunas would still, there is still a guna vyakti karan.
So first of all, everything is not for benefit, but to understand what is the reality. It's not that just because it is benefit or better, but this is the reality. So he's explaining what is the tattva. Second thing is that, okay, Vishguna changes can happen, but then there is no Ishvara. So that means there is no one to control.
But why? I mean, we could also say like, okay, there is creation never gets annihilated, but Ishvara still exists. And
so what is the role of Ishvara then? What is it doing?
Well, the role of Ishvara is like someone has to operate the creation, so he's like supervising the creation. All the devas are under his control.
So then why? So then he himself is saying that he creates it also, and he destroys it. So that's why I'm saying it's not just for benefit, but what is the fact?
Okay, can you again say where exactly he says that he creates and he destroys? It was in the Bhāgavatam.
This is a very interesting question. We are in the 11th canto. From the very first canto onwards these things are coming. How many prayers are there? Second canto, third canto, Kapila's teaching, before that Narada speaking, Brahma speaking to Narada, all about creation. And even in the third chapter of first canto it is described how Lord is taking avatars and then he is creating. The third chapter of the first canto itself is describing, after the famous verse Ete Chanskala Punsa. Okay, Uddhava Uvacha. Uddhav said, Guneshu Vartamanopi Dehejeshu Anapavritah Gunairna Badhyate Dehi Badhyate Va Katham Vibho. So Uddhava's question is interesting. That he says that Atma, he is calling here as Dehi, means embodied being. So he is existing in the gunas. Guna, the word guna has different meaning, not only just the three gunas, but guna also means senses, guna also means material products. So, and Deha Jesu, and also he is existing things which are product of Deha, means the karma and its effect. So he is in that, but he is anapavrita, gunair, he is not covered by them. So how is he said that he is not bound by them, gunair nabadhyate dehi, or he is bound also, badhyate va katham, because we say that he is asango hi ayam purusha, that he does not come in contact with any of these gunas. And then we also say that nitya baddha, that he is bound by this. So how does this happen? This is the question he is raising, very pertinent question. So nanu cha bhavanmate moksha eva purushartha avgata. So he says, from your opinion I understand that the purushartha, the purpose of life is not just doing karma here, going to heaven, coming back, but attaining moksha, becoming free from this. Sacha bhakti jnana vairagya abhyasad bhavati. And this moksha can happen by the practice of bhakti and jnana vairagya. So tasmin sati purusho muktaye uchyate. When that happens, then person is called liberated, mukta. Iti maya na buddhyate. But I don't understand this fact, that how there is bondage when he is not actually covered by anything and then he becomes liberated. So this is what he is asking here. Guneshu iti muktasya api dattatreya bharatader bhojan sen atanadi shravanat sthula sukshma dehadvayam tishtati eva. So he says people like Dattatreya or King Bharat, they were called as Mukta Purushas. But they also slept, they also ate, they also walked around. We hear that. That means they had the gross and subtle body, because if you are sleeping, then you have gross body, you have subtle body. If you are walking, then you have at least the gross body. So tasmin cha sthite sati dehajesu gunesu vartmanopi tair gunai dehi katham na badhyate. So if this is the case, that he, the living being, is existing in these gunas and the activities of the gunas, then how is that he is not bound by them? Tathapi tair akashvat chinmayatvad anavrito jivo na badhyate. And then it is also said that he is a chinmaya, he is not covered by anything. He is like akasha. Like akasha is not bound by anything. So, iti chet tari bandho na sambhavati, then it is not bound. And anavritaha katham badhyate. If it is not covered by anything, then how it is bound? Because to bind something, at least you have to cover it with the rope. Something has to cover. Mother Yashoda bound Krishna. She was also trying to cover her belly. It took a long time to do that. So katham vartayeta vihareta kairva gyayeta lakshanaihi kim bhunjita uta visrijeta shahita asita yativa. So he is asking that such a person who is, you say that he is bound, he is not bound, he is mukta. How does he behave? How does he move around? By which symptoms is he known? And what does he eat? What does he give up? How he sleeps? How he sits? How he goes? So just like Arjuna asked that question, Sthit pragyasya ka bhasa samadhistasya kesava sthitadhi kim prabhaseta kim aseta vrajeta kim. So similar question he is asking, that how does basically he function? Yadi tu satsu api guneshu vishendriyadishu tababhimanena badhyate tannivritya cha muchyate iti matam tarhi maya tatha katham gyatavyam iti pritchati. He says, if you say that this person, although he is existing in the gunas, which means the sense objects and the senses, and he gets bound, if you have the abhiman for that, means you think that they are yours or you are one with them, you identify with them. And if you give up that abhiman, that identity, that association with them, then you are liberated. So he says, how do I understand this fact? I don't understand it. So therefore he says, katham varteta, how does he function? Vartan viharan bhojana mutra purisha visarjana sen asana gamanani karmani muktasya baddhasya cha tulyani eva drishyante. So he says that the activities of a person who is liberated in this material world and one who is bound, they seem similar. Just as a person who is bound, he sleeps, he eats, he goes to toilet, he walks, he speaks, he experiences things like that, the other person is also doing. So what is the difference? They both function exactly in the same way. So I don't see any difference. Tani cha nirabhimanani sabhimanani iti maya kairva lakshanair gyatavyani. And then if you say that The one who is liberated, he does not identify with these activities. Guna gunesu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Krishna says that the senses are functioning in the sense objects. Knowing this, he is not bound by them. And the other person, he thinks that he is enjoying, he is eating, he is doing this. But how do I know who is who? What are their symptoms? So some difference is there which is internal. Somebody is identifying or not identifying is not seen from outside. But how do we recognize? So what are their symptoms? You can please explain to me. Etadachyuta me bruhi prashnam prashnavidam vara nitya mukto nitya baddha eka eviti me brahmaha. So he says that, O Achyuta, this is my question and you are the most qualified person to answer this. My confusion is that the same person who is Nitya Mukta is called Nitya Baddha. So how does this happen? So this is the end of chapter 10. Nitya Mukto Dattatreya Bharatadir Nitya Baddho Devadatta Yagya Dattadi Tulya Dehika Kriyatvad Eka Eva iti Brahma iti Vailakshanyam tu maya grahitum ashakyam api asti eva tattvaya aham gyapayitavya iti bhava atra nitya padam anadhikartham. So he says that people like Dattatreya, Bharata, they are called Nitya Mukta. Then there are people like Devadatta, Yagyadatta, they are Nitya Baddha. So their activities are similar. So Tulya Dehi Kriyatva Dekeva iti Brahma. So they look one because of their activities are same, but they are different also. So I cannot grasp this difference. So you please explain to me. This is his question. So this is the end of Sarartha Darsani on 10th chapter. Now Sri Krishna will reply. His reply is very interesting. We will understand the bondage and liberation. So 11th chapter, Ekadasa Adhyaya, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Baddho Mukta iti Vyakhya Gunto Mena Vastutaha Gunasya Maya Mulatvat Name Moksho Na Bandhanam. So he says that when it is said that somebody is bound or somebody is liberated, so that is only by the gunas and not in reality. So this may has to be applied by may gunata, by my gunas, not may my bondage and my liberation. It can also be seen like that. So he says that there is actually no real bondage and there is no real liberation also. It is all the play of the gunas. And gunas are maya mulatvat. Gunas are rooted in maya. So therefore there is neither moksha nor bondage. There is neither liberation nor bondage. Nothing. So nobody is bound, nobody is liberated. It is all in the mind. So we are Just like when you dream, so you go into another loka and then you're fully absorbed there. Whatever you think in the dream or meet somebody, it looks real, then you wake up. Maya mulatvat. So that's what is happening. So ekadashe baddha mukta vailakshanyasya sikshanam sadhunam lakshanam bhakter anganyapi uktavan hari. So this is the summary of 11th chapter. That first he is going to define the difference between person who is bound and who is liberated. Then he will give some symptoms of a sadhu, who is a sadhu, and describe some limbs of bhakti. This is what is coming in this chapter. Katham mokshaha katham bandha iti tatra prasno ayam vastuto na ghatate iti. So Krishna begins his reply by saying that actually this question, how is one bound and how does one become liberated, does not arise. This is a wrong question, because nobody is bound, nobody is liberated. So this is the first thing he says here. Me gunataha mada adhina sattvadi gunair baddha iti tato mukta iti vyakhya vastuto na sambhavati. So he says that these gunas are under my control, madadhina sattvadi gunai, and one becomes bound by the gunas, and then he becomes liberated when he becomes free from the gunas. So he says this does not happen in reality. Vastuto says in reality it is not possible. Why is that? Kutaha? He says gunasya guna sambandhasya maya mulatvat. He says because this gunasya maya mulatvat, he says gunasya maya mulatvat, guna belong to maya. Guna belong to maya means the relationship with guna belongs to maya. Means the relationship with the gunas is not real. Atma does not have a real relationship with the gunas of Prakriti. Because if it will have a real relationship, then it will never be given up. But it is not real, it is assumed. Just as when you see the snake in the rope, so it is rope only. Rope is not becoming snake. So it is not that when you throw the light, then rope again becomes rope. And before it was a snake. So rope never became snake, and because it never became snake, it never becomes rope. Rope was rope all along. But we mistook that rope for snake. So that mistake is the Maya, that is the Brahma. That is the wrong knowledge, misconception. That is not real. And because it is not real, that's why you can remove it. If it was a real snake, then you have to either kill him or you have to chase him away. He cannot disappear. So his magical snake comes, goes. It's like dreams come and go. So this is mithya, not vastuta. But still it has some value. It scares you and you jump 3 feet up into the air by seeing it. So that much power it has. So therefore he says guna sambandhasya maya mulatvat maya avidyaya dustarka shaktya durghatasya dehendriyadi guna sambandhasya mithya eva spurnat. So what is this happening here? So he says that body, senses, this is what guna means here. Guna means material body, material senses. So Atma is having a sambandha with them. Gunasya maya mulatvat means guna sambandhasya maya mulatvat. So by the power of maya, we are assuming a relationship with these things. The relationship is not real, but we assume. And what is the maya here? He says maya here means avidya. Maya has covered our own understanding of ourselves, and because of that avidya we think that we are the body, and as long as that avidya will remain, we'll keep on thinking like that we are the body. So then you have to bring vidya. Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavah. So ajnanena jnanam avritam. What is jnana? Now this is like also confusion. People think that Atma is full of jnana. There is so much knowledge, everything, all the Vedas are also inside us. Like people say like that. And ajnana has covered it. And that's not what it means. It's just that I don't have knowledge of myself as I have knowledge of myself also, but mistaken knowledge that I am the body. It's not that I don't have knowledge about myself, but I have mistaken knowledge that I am the body instead of having knowledge that I am Atma. So that is the avidya part. So that avidya is doing two things, avaran and vikshepa. That my own understanding, my jnana, that I am a conscious living being, that is covered, and then it is replaced by I am the body. So that is the ajnanena avritam jnanam. And jnanena tu tadyad ajnanam nasitam enam atmana. So then when it is destroyed, then it becomes manifest. So it is not that Atma becomes something else or Atma becomes body, just as rope does not become the body. Rope does not become snake. Rope remains rope only. In the same way, Atma also remains Atma only. But this misconception comes in the mind because of avidya. So this is what he is saying. So this he says that how can avidya do this? This is also a very interesting thing. If you see light bulb and you cover it from outside, so imagine that light bulb is Atma and you cover it, so its light is not coming outside, it cannot see anything outside, but the bulb will still know I am bulb. You cannot take it away. Bulb will not start thinking I am not the bulb. So here comes the superpower of Maya. Because if I am a conscious being, how can that be covered by anything? Unless something enters inside me. Even if you cover me from outside. So inside I will still know that I am Atma. So this is where the role of Maya comes, and that's why we cannot get rid of it by our own power. That's why Krishna says, Devi he sagunmayi mama maya duratyaya. This is the duratyaya word is used there, which he is using here as dustarka shaktya durghatasya. Something durghata means which is very impossible to do. That Maya does that. Sayam Bhagavato Maya yan nayena viruddhate Ishwarasya vimuktasya karpanyamut bandhanam. That this is the Maya of Bhagavan which is contradicts logic, as he also says dustark, that it is beyond logic. Logically it doesn't make sense that my sense of I can be covered by something. So I have the sense of I, but on that something gets imposed. Just as the rope is there and snake gets imposed on it. So same way the body gets imposed onto I, then I say I am the body. I is still there. So when you said this is snake, there this does not refer to snake, this refers to the rope. This is snake has two parts in it. One is this part, other is rope, snake part. So this refers to rope and snake is which is imposed on it. So similarly when I say I am the body, then I am what is I am. But then on that some extra thing is imposed onto it, and then it becomes fit to live in this material world. Then everything else, you only need this much. Rest you manage. Maya has to only do this much, that you are this body. After that, everything functions automatically. Then there is no problem. So this is the anadi avidya. This is the beginningless ignorance. So therefore it says dehendriyadi gun sambandhasya mithya eva sphurnat. That this relationship of Atma with body and senses is instilled. It is also not known where is it instilled. Who is having it? It is not in Atma. Where does it exist? So he says Sphurnat. He says this is mithya, this is not real. This is what he says, this is na vastuta. Purushottam Prabhu.
It's coming in the next line. But I question this may in the second part. The may, but I guess he explains that may mama matte iti sesa. So may is the end of the sentence here in Anvaya, right? Basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because may comes twice.
Yes.
First may is used for gunata.
Purata, yes.
And then second may is this is my opinion. Or this is my teaching. Bhushan.
Babaji, perhaps I have a question that this knowledge, is again this question on this avidya. So now, if somebody does anusandhan or this on this particular verse, which Shri Krishna is saying that I am already liberated, as some of the Advaita Vedantists also they say Abhed Brahma anusandhan, they do this I am Brahma, I am Brahmasmi. Just doing this meditation, does this verse imply that even if you do meditation for 100 years continuously, you will still not get the experience of this because it is all of the meditation you're doing is filtered by the mind and the mind itself is corrupted. So no longer how much meditation you do of Aham Brahmasmi or I am Atma, I am liberated, you will never become liberated. Would this verse, is Shri Krishna suggesting this through this verse?
Yeah, in the ultimate sense you will not get liberated, but you can get liberated living in the body in the sense that you will not be influenced. Means you will be able to have this thing that I am not the body. You can come to know this, but you cannot become free from it by yourself. Just knowing this, that is the whole idea which earlier came, if you remember, Vidya and Avidya. And that Vidya will remove Avidya, and then Vidya will get off by itself. Just like when the wood gets burnt. That example was given, and that's where Vishwanath Chakravarti said that it doesn't happen like that. Without the help of bhakti, it won't happen. So that part was not mentioned there in the sloka, but in the commentary, because it will come later on, that's needed. Kamala.
Yes, Babaji. About this two part of Maya, this avarana and vikshepa. So I don't remember. There are the two functions. One is covering, and the other.
It's showing you something which you identify with. It's like if I have to know, if I have to have this understanding, I am the body. So two things is that first I have to forget that I am not the body. I am living being. So that is the covering part. And then that is not enough. If it's just covered that I have knowledge, I am separate from body. If that is covered, then also what will you do after that? So the second part is I am the body. Once you have that, then Maya says, okay, my job is done now.
Okay.
Now you can run after gelato.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you, Mama.
Imagine that you did not know that you are Atma, but you are also not knowing that you are the body. You will not go after gelato. You
So
won't,
what I will do everything?
you won't do anything. You will be just like a person who has Alzheimer 100%.
Completely forgetting that.
Yeah, you won't know anything. You will be like a zombie.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Sandeep.
So, from this verse, I'm not clear about if avidya is the gunas.
Yes.
So then, as per the corollary, vidya should be gunatit.
Why? Maya has both part in it, Vidya and Avidya. Sattva is Vidya, Rajas Tamas is Avidya.
Then why the verse is, Bhagavan is saying that it's just in the mind, like liberation and bondage, both is in the mind. The mind still is in the gunas. Once it is out of the gunas, then is it not liberation?
Yeah, but how will you go out of guna? That is the whole thing. To get you out of guna, you need something which is out of guna.
Okay, so then again taking the example of Bharat and Dattatreya, that is being said as Jiva Mukta. So while being in the body, they are out of gunas, they are beyond gunas. Outcome means beyond gunas.
Yes. Because they are bhaktas.
Then as per that explanation, again this thing comes to that same point, Shuki. If Vidya is gunas, that means they were not having any avidya. Bharat and Dattatreya were not having any avidya. They were in Vidya.
Both they are beyond Vidya and Avidya. What is the meaning of Gunatit? We have just said that Vidya is also in the Guna, Avidya is also in Guna. Gunatit means beyond both Vidya and Avidya.
Okay.
Your Mamcha.
Few verses.
माम च अव्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान समतीत्य, going beyond the gunas, brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna says you go beyond the gunas.
So is it saying that, like you said that the last line, Name Moksha Na Bandhanam, that is stating his opinion, Bhagwan's opinion.
Yeah.
So it's not meaning that Bhagwan is both beyond liberation and bondage, but whereas a jiva can only be either in the gunas or vidya of mind. It doesn't mean that.
I don't know what you're saying.
It can it can be interpreted like this, ना कि मतलब जो इस verse के जो last line है, which is saying that Bhagwan is saying कि I am beyond bondage and
Yeah, you can interpret it like that. But that doesn't make sense. He's not talking about himself. You also have to interpret what is the question. Question was not about Bhagwan. Question was about Jiva. That was, this is my Brahma. How is that same person can be liberated and also? So you can interpret, but it also should fit what is being asked and what is being replied.
Okay. So in the next few verses, he will say that how to go beyond the vidya of Maya.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Mohini.
I have a follow-up on your reply to Bhushan. So what I understood is that Shrutis Advaitavad, sadhana, aham brahmasmi, etc., one can become a bit detached from the gunas and is not anymore under the control of them. So, but to get liberated, one needs bhakti. So what is exactly the destination of such a person after he dies? What does he attain?
Which person?
A person who is not practicing bhakti but meditating on aham brahmasmi, etc.
Yeah, so if you don't practice bhakti, then you will only remain in prakriti. You can have prakriti la, merge into prakriti. Prakriti is also called Brahman. Mami yonir mahad Brahma. Brahma is my.
And this is nitya, or when the prakriti again becomes manifest, he takes birth?
Nothing is nitya.
Babaji, it might be a step further, but what was the, or what is the explanation, it seems that Maya is more powerful than the Jiva. And
any doubt?
No. Okay, I tried. We tried to say it different. It seems that Maya is more powerful than Atma, but is not Atma the higher Shakti than Maya?
Maya. So by Maya, what do you understand by Maya?
The Prakriti Shakti of Bhagavan.
Yeah, so that is there, but Maya is also personality. Maya Devi.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. Second thing is that this is what he is trying to say here. Superior to that does not always mean that you are superior in every sense. So you are more powerful than mosquito? Yes? But one mosquito can make your life quite hellish. And you can't do much to a mosquito. You cannot bite a mosquito. But mosquito can bite you. And you will fall sick. So in the same way, although Maya is gunas and they are inert, but their influence can be on Atma. That's why he's used the word dustarka, that it is illogical. Illogical does not mean that it's wrong or anything like that, but you can't understand it by logic. So just like Mohini asked this question, what is the benefit? So it's not always a question of benefit, but what is the reality? In the same way, it's not a question of logic or illogic. What is the reality? Reality is this. It's not that everything is logical only. If everything was logical, then science will actually solve the problem of particle wave theory. So there are things, water does start expanding from 4 degree onward. It's not logical, but it's a fact. You cannot deny. You cannot say, well, it's illogical. It may be illogical, but it's the reality. So you have to understand it. So that's why saying that it is dustarka, that logic doesn't work. And Maitreya Rishi said the same, yan nayena viruddhyate, that it is against naya. Naya also means nyaya, logic. So therefore it says, ateva me mama mate, it says, and therefore this is what is my opinion, my teaching. Na bandhanam bandhana bhava deva na mokshasya. So there is neither bandhan and bondage, and because there is no bondage, there is no liberation also. So this is seeing from the reality point of view. But from our point of view, there is bondage and there is liberation. Seeing from the tattva point of view, there is no bondage and there is no liberation. That is, we understand it that way. But now when we apply it in practical way, I cannot start saying, well, I am not bound actually. But then when I see sweet, I want to eat that. So then I become bound at that time. No, you should remain free at that time also.
Paramarthika and Vyavarika kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's not the Paramarthik Vyavarika of...
But that is also same, I think.
Yeah, but it's not that these words they have taken and no one else can use these words now.
No, but this kind of explanation,
Yeah.
I think that is also, they also say the same thing, like from the higher point of view, so everything is mithya, but when you are living in the world, it is...
Higher point of view, Vasudeva Sarvamiti.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But that does not mean that I don't get hungry and I don't eat food because it is Vasudeva. So this is also there. So you call it higher point, lower point. The thing is that this is a practical application of the higher thing. It is not just Brahman and nothing else exists. Shoka mohau sukham dukkham dehapattisya mayaya swapno yathatmana khyatir sansritir natu vastavi. So he says that by Maya only, this Maya, which was said Maya Mulatvat, so he says because of that you get shoka, moha, grief, delusion, sukham, dukkham, happiness, distress, and dehapati, this body also. So he says all this, what is it? He says it is swapna. Yatha swapna, it is like swapna, it is atmana khyati. Atma here does not mean Atma. means buddhi or manas, and khyati, as she will be explained, is as a vivarta. That's just a modification or vritti of buddhi. So this is what is called sansar. So you see here also he is using the word sansriti, not jagat. Although jagat and sansar are interchangeably, but this is what is sansar. This is this understanding which is not real, which is maya by maya. Therefore it says natu vastavi. It is not real. Just like we see the dream and you eat in the dream. So that eating in the dream will satisfy you only in the dream, not in your wakeful state. Otherwise, whenever I am hungry, let me sleep, and then you will dream because you are hungry, you will dream of eating. Then when you wake up, you don't have to cook. But it doesn't work like that. So just as in the dream, it is Maya Mulatvat, this is the Vivarta of the Buddhi. It is only your Buddhi and the samskaras becoming manifest. So in the same way, here it's all basically Prakriti. If you see even from modern quantum mechanics point of view, so what are all these objects? They are just electron, proton, neutron, molecules hanging, right? But one thing becomes sweet, one thing becomes salty, one thing becomes beautiful, one thing becomes ugly. It's all mixture. Most of it is a lot of carbon here, right? Carbon, hydrogen molecules. That's what most of the world is. Some oxygen is also there. So these are the few things. And even if you take them, ultimately they are made of these atoms, proton, neutron, electron, some quarks or whatever. And that is making you think this is good, this is bad, this is nice, this is wonderful. But if we put a glass in front of your eyes and you start seeing at the quantum level, so that will be the tattva level, that is the paramarthik satta. If you can see everything from the quantum level, that is the paramarthik satta. That is the Vasudeva Sarvamiti. It's all atoms, Prabhu. Nothing else. But then it is not practical. At practical level, I am going to feel hungry. And then you have to give some atoms to it in a particular form. So here also, we cannot deny that. Even if I know this whole table is all full of space, but still I cannot pierce my finger into it because actually we don't touch anything. You know that? When you think you are touching the table, your finger really does not touch it. It cannot touch because they are electrons. They repel each other. And because of that repelling force, it looks like you're touching. It's not touching. So here also asango hi ayam purusha. Everything is asanga. So quantum can also give you vairagya. But scientists never get vairagya. But if you start seeing it like this full of vairagya. So this is what he says. So he says, Tatra bandhasya mithyatva prakaram darshayati. So he says that he shows the way why it is not real, why it is unreal. the bondage. Why the bondage actually is not real, he shows this now. Shoka mohoti. Because what is the bondage? Bondage is this also, I am in grief, and my mind is triggered, right? I am triggered now. So this triggering is also not real. Nobody really gets triggered. It's all mithya. Some people may be triggered by this also. So he says, Soka mohaviti. He says grief, delusion, dehapatti, dehat, dehantar prapti. So going from one body to another body. Dehasya apatti rapat. Or dehapatti, he gives two meaning. One is attaining body, and apatti also means trouble. In Hindi also he say, आफत आ गई. बोलते हैं ना आफत, वो आफत आपत्ति है, आफत. So आपत्ति, आफत, death also. Maya, maikopadhi sambandhene. So it is Maya. By Maya means by the upadhis made from Maya. Body is the primary upadhi. And before that subtle body is there. Ahankara. Start with ahankara. Then everything. Because if ahankara is not there, mahatattva will not do much. So you need ahankara. Ahankara is that which hinges you. He puts मेरा टेसु यहीं खड़ा. टेसु तुम्हारे गांव में गाते थे? टेसु नहीं सुना तुमने? चलो ये गाते थे ऐसे. मेरा टेसु यहीं खड़ा, खाने को मांगे दही बड़ा. दिवाली पे गाते थे ऐसे. So this is what Maya is. Starts with ahankar. So mithya, maikopadhi, that is the avidyaya maikopadhu antakarane, suksham dehe. He also says that where is this maikopadhi? In the antakarana, inside, subtle body, suksham dehe. Jivasya abhimanat eva. It starts with the abhiman. I am this body. So then you become somebody. And when you become somebody, because you have a body, you have some body, then you become somebody, and then Maya functions from there. So tadiya dharmanam, so then the characteristics come from that. Soka mohadinam, so these are all manifest from that abhiman. Because something dear to me, I lose this, then I am in grief. I get something which I want, then I go into delusion, nobody is like me. Like people get deluded when they are successful. So this is Soka Mohadinam. Swiyattena Grahanam. You start accepting them as they belong to you. Atah Soka Mohadi Matva Lakshana Sansritir Na Vastavi. So therefore this is the samsara in the form of Shoka, Moha, Sukha, Dukha, etc. It is not real. Na Vastu Bhuta. It doesn't have factual existence. Shoka Mohadinam Maya Srishtatvena. Because Shoka Moha, they are just state of mind. It's a vritti. What else it is? When you feel happy, when you feel distress, where do you feel happy? In the mind. And what is feeling in the mind? Just a vritti. So that's why now mechanically by neurobiology they can put something in your brain and you can feel happy. Right? So some people are dejected, they give you some pill, you take it, it does some chemical in the brain. Then your dejection is gone. So just some chemicals in the brain. Happiness is another chemical. Shoka is another chemical. Stress is another chemical. Anger another chemical. Just some chemical. So Maya Srishtittvena Satyatvepi Tat Sambandhasya Jive Avidya. Then you say, well, these things are not real. Then no, they are real, but they are not you. They are outside you, separate from you. You don't have any relationship with that. If one thought is coming in your mind, it doesn't bother me. Same thought comes in my mind, it starts bothering. Why? Because this thought I think is my thought. The thought which is coming in your mind is not my thought. Somebody is living in your house and that is your family. Somebody lives next door, that is not my family. Where is it? It's in the mind. So he says this is how it works. Avidya kalpitatvat mithya. It is all imagined by avidya, therefore it's not real. Yatha atmano buddhe khyati vivarta swapno mithya. He gives an example. He said just like you have a dream at night. So what are these dreams? These are all modifications of the mind only. Everybody knows this. That there is no snake, there is no tiger chasing you. Right? But in the dream you are running and you cannot run also. And tiger is just behind you. Or there is a snake and you are scared. But there is nothing like that. It's all your mind is creating all that. So he said just as it is buddhi vritti there, when you are awake is also buddhi vritti. So I'll stop here.